This is Dirk from Blacklist Royals. I play bass. This is Zero Platoon.
Platoon!
I grew up on a ranch in Wyoming, so it was a lot of yard work and livestock and stuff like that. So it was a lot of my life now. My grandfather played acoustic guitar, and I was about 11 years old, and he gave me a guitar and started showing me chords, and then that's about the same time I got the Descendants Liveage record, and I just sat down and tried to figure out how they played, and I was hooked in punk rock ever since then. Like, just tried to learn as much as I could, and then switched over to bass because it's a lot easier getting bass gigs than guitar gigs. So here I am. I moved to Oklahoma in 2001 to start playing, or to go to college, and I ended up starting playing in bands down there. That's where I met up with Brad, the guitar player at Blacklist Royals, and we played in a couple bands together all through our 20s, and he got the gig with Blacklist as their guitar player, and they brought me on as their bass player as well. So I joined the military in 2006 when I was 23 years old, and I was one of the oldest guys in my basic training. Everybody thought I was geriatric. I kind of needed structure. I was kind of trying to figure everything out, figure life out, and didn't really know what to do with myself or how to handle myself. And I really am appreciative to the military for that, because it gave me a sense of self and how to react to situations properly and not fly off the handle, like just be like, well, this is what it is. How can I get past this and grow from it? And I went that way all the way through. I got out of the military as an E5. I was a squad leader overseas, and it showed me how to like help other people grow as well. And that's one of the things I really appreciate from the military. I joined the Army Reserves. My friend had become a recruiter, and he called me up and asked if he could come over and give his spiel, just give him pointers on it. And he came over, went through the whole thing, and the next day I was at MEPS. I mean, I'd seen like other movies and stuff, so you have like kind of an idea of it, but like when you first step off that bus and there's the footprints on the ground, and then there's this giant dude screaming at you, like there's nothing in the world that can really brace you for that. Like you just have to kind of roll with the punches. One of my drill sergeants was the meanest person I had ever met in my life. Giant dude, and he would hit me in the nose with the brim of his hat when he talked to me. He would like lean down and hit me in the nose with it, and I was just like, I never had anybody yell at me that close before, and just very intimidating. And then once you kind of fall into the rut, then understand how it works, and that it's like they're trying to make you a soldier. You know, you get the idea of it. It's like when someone goes to college, you don't go to college just to party, you go to like learn how to think properly. It's the same thing in the military. It's like they're making you a soldier. You should embrace that. Like, don't try to fight it. And there was a couple guys the first couple weeks in trying to fight that and be like, I'm an individual and I'm doing this, and that's not what you're here for. You know, you're trying to be a part of the group. It took me a little while. I'd you know, you always have preconceived notions of what it's going to be like, and then it's not what you think it's going to be. It's like, to a degree, some of it is, but for the most part, it's a whole different experience. And you just kind of have to, like a switch clicks over, and you're like, oh, okay, life is easier if you know, I'd signed up for this. This is my choice. I'm going to deal with it. You know, like, you don't lose all of yourself in it, but like, you have to adapt. Like, everything in life you have to adapt to, like, especially if it's a choice you make. So, you know, a couple weeks into basic, you start seeing people being like, getting the picture and understanding how to get through it, what you have to do to just get through your basic training. And that's pretty much all I can think of on that. Is like, just give it a couple weeks to really let your body adjust to all the running and stuff. Did my time in the reserves, and then in 2009 they mobbed us to go to Iraq. We were in country for 11 months, but the whole mob and demob and all that stuff took almost a year and a half. So it was a very interesting transition from being a civilian to, you know, like civilian and Army Reserve for your weekend, you know, 1 weekend a month, and then full time for almost a year and a half, and then trying to transition back to that again was a very awkward process. That was a big shock, especially coming from the reserve side and then going and living with guys that are active duty. It's a whole different world, you know. And, especially like in a combat zone. Like I was up a lot for the first couple months when I was in there. It's like Margaritaville, that's what they call it. Like getting ordered, like actually wrapping your head around the idea that someone wants to kill you. Like that's kind of crazy to me. And then it took a little bit, and then you get used to it. It's common practice to be like, oh, gotta go to the bunkers. You know, like find people that are like-minded, that are in your platoon. Bond with them. Like, don't be the lonely guy. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot to process and a lot for your mind to really handle all at once. Don't do it alone. Like, find a buddy, commiserate a little bit, but like you also bond because of the experience. It's like you guys are still friends from AIT. Like that's amazing. You know, like if you guys hadn't joined, probably never would have met.
Yeah.
You know, like that's an amazing thing, and those friendships last forever. I still keep in touch with most of the guys I was over with. I mean, it's like a brotherhood you can't break. You know, that guy went through the same craziness that you did, and like trying to explain that to someone that wasn't even anywhere near that, you know, or doesn't have a comprehension or a frame of reference is kind of hard to do. So I try to get together with them, even just phone calls, and just be like, hey, how you doing? You know, how's life? And I don't know, just check on each other all the time. But yeah, it is still super lonely. You can't really talk too much to the people at home about what's going on, especially if you're downrange. And pretty much what you like I said earlier, you find those people that are like-minded that you really click with in your platoon, and you just latch on and become buddies. You know, like, do what you can to get through it together. We played a lot of dominoes. I also bought this really crappy acoustic guitar off one of the Turkish dudes at the bazaar. I listen to a lot of the Flatliners and stuff. I love the Flatliners. They always pick me up, make me feel better. Sam I Am is a band that I've listened to since I was like 13, something like that. They're a phenomenal band. All their records are great. My friends in Red City Radio, they have very uplifting songs and like very positive message. I enjoy them. Always the Descendants. Can't go wrong with the Descendants. Part of me wanted to say it, and part of me really misses it. Mostly because, like, you know, I miss my guys, like my squad and like the guys I hung out with. But I wanted to be at home with them, you know what I mean? I've been lost inside the twilight of my heart. And there a beauty on the Bowery streets, lost soul.